Hello and welcome to your favorite radio station, 1937. Today we'll be telling you all about California, the New Deal, and how our stock market's doing. So sit tight, listen, and enjoy. California has always been the land of opportunity, opening her arms wide and welcoming all travelers looking for a better life. Though in recent times, her arms are squeezed shut, making the proposition of a rich life in California much less obtainable. In the past year, approximately 2,946,600 people came to the state of California by car, and that isn't including the amount of travelers that made their way by train. And although that was in the last year, we have had migrants come into California since 1935 because of the dust storms in the Midwest. California has more immigrants and migrants seeking for better lives and better jobs than any other state in America. Of the 2,946,000 people that migrate to California, 74% of them were headed towards Southern California. A lot of those headed were from Oklahoma. So many Oklahomans have entered the state of California that they've started to be picked on by locals. The name Okies has been given to them by Ben Riddick. The name has spread statewide, and the Okies seem to be treated rudely and unfairly when searching for jobs. More people hiring are looking for local Californians instead of Oklahoma travelers. Los Angeles is as highly sought after migrants as it is by immigrants. Although it is used to harbor thousands, if not more, Mexican immigrants recently, that number has diminished. The American Federation of Labor and Municipal Governments have been pressuring towards reducing the number of Mexican immigrants since before the stock market crash. Now, since we have less and less jobs, their wishes have been granted. The Immigration and Naturalization Service and local authorities have been rounding up anyone they believe to be an illegal immigrant and are shipping them to Mexico. So far, Los Angeles has lost almost a third of its Mexican-American population. And now, a word from our sponsors. Are you a reader? Do you spend your nights with your face buried in a book? Do you hate reading? Do you wish all books would burn? Whether you despise books or want to marry one, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien is the book for you. A fascinating tale about Bilbo Baggins, the Hobbit, who goes on one epic adventure. As he's usually holed up in his home, as most hobbits are, this adventure is more than he thinks he can handle. He starts out on a peaceful terrain, but his journey quickly gets more treacherous. Oh, but dear listeners, I'll give you no more. You need to read it for yourself. The Hobbit, otherwise known as There and Back Again, is a story you can read by yourself, to your children, have your children read it to you, read it to the dog. Well, it's a story for everyone. So when it hits the shelves on September 21st of this year, 1937, you better run and get it, because I can only imagine how highly wanted it will be.
In 1937, the stock market was not at its best. Businesses were losing money, people were losing their jobs,
And now to our reporter, Jorge Ramirez, for his news on the stock market.
In 1937, the stock market was not at its best. Businesses were losing money, people were losing their jobs, and unemployment was going up. A perfect example of the economy and stock market being as horrible as it was the Federal Reserve, also known as Roosevelt's recession. The 1937 and 1938 dip was of excessive government regulation and loose monetary policy. Roosevelt decided to balance the budget and drastically cut deficient spendings. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 49% from its peak in 1937. Manufacturing output fell by 37%. Unemployment, which had been slowly declining to 14% from 25%, surged 19%, and price declines led to deflation. The Federal Reserve and its part to throw the economy back into recession by tightening credit. The Fed responded by increasing bank reserve requirements in several stages.
Marie, just pray for me, Marie. Girl, my dreams, I want you. I need you to find.
Do you like what you hear? I myself have never heard a song so snazzy, so keen, so smooth. This gifted artist is the one, the only, Tommy Dorsey. The song you're hearing is one of his best, Marie. Lads, if you yourself have a girl, I highly suggest you get her tickets to see him, or even buy his vinyl. I guarantee your babe will be extra cool with you in return. Not only will your girl love it, but Tommy Morrissey will be your new favorite singer too. With his jazzy voice and excellent instrumentals, I promise you'll be dancing around the living room before you can say, "I'm so grateful that radio station 1937 showed me Tommy Morrissey. Thanks." And now we go to Gary Cooper with the New Deal.
New Deal. In 1937, we started this decade off bad. Black Tuesday, also known as the stock market crash, was when the stock market in New York went down and the economy was in pieces. Herbert Hoover did nothing to help America. When Hoover stepped down, a great man came up. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, also known as FDR, came with a proposal to help people work. What is this proposal, you may say? Well, since it is 1937, I would hope you would remember it. It's called the New Deal.
This just in, we're in the second phase of the proposal that FDR had brought to us when he was elected as president. According to infoplease.com, the speed of reform slackened after 1936, and there was growing Republican opposition to the huge public spending, high taxes, and centralization of the power in the executive branch of government. Within the Democratic Party itself, there was strong disapproval from the old guard and the disgruntled members of the Brain Trust. This means that conservatives are actually leaning towards the liberal side. Also, the Democrats are not agreeing with the advisors of FDR.
Just this minute, according to judiciarysenate.gov, the Judiciary Reorganization Bill of 1937, which provided for broad reform of the federal justice system, allowed President Roosevelt to appoint an additional member to the Supreme Court for every sitting justice over the age of 70, which would have resulted in a total of 6 new justices at the time the bill was introduced. Abraham Lincoln, and FDR's history will live on forever since he is doing such a vigorous job as president.
Thank you for listening, and tune in next time for more exciting news on the USA.